basics, you know, the food, the water, clothing, those kinds of things are important. But let me just use the New York experience for a moment. In New York, there was a proliferation of these babies who were orphaned by moms who had HIV and AIDS, and babies who contracted the disease during delivery. But with the advent of new medications, as we pointed out, 8 of these children now. How do you cross those cultural barriers in sub-Saharan Africa to get these women to buy in and to take these medications, and even starting with the physicians who may not necessarily understand this as well? And how do we get the funds to provide these medications? Because otherwise, ladies, we're going to be sitting here every 5 years having the same conversation.
And we have to get the funds. In Botswana, there's a small group of people. Some of them are retired women who go on motorcycles out to the rural areas to make sure that the HIV patient is taking his or her medication. And again, these are things that we don't really hear about that's taking place.
There are huge differences in the countries. Botswana is one of the countries that provides medications to a high percentage. Rwanda does. In Burundi, only 23% of the people who need antiretrovirals are getting them. It depends on the foreign aid, and there just hasn't been the infrastructure to get the medications to the people in need, to the doctors who want them.
Ivy?
Well, we've gotten the message here in the United States to prevent the maternal transmission, but I think here we need to go the next step, because when you look at the new face of AIDS, very young women, very young men who, for whatever reason, are not getting the message. And so I think globally, we're focusing on the prevention of the transmission during childbirth. But I think here in the United States, we need to talk about why aren't our young people getting the message about how to protect themselves, because we here are going to have the next generation, and we're seeing it already, of individuals who are themselves infected. And very often those same children who saw their parent live and die, because people are still dying despite all of the advances in medication, for some reason there's a disconnect between that message translating to young people. And if we're not careful, we're going to have another generation of people living with HIV here.
Well said, no question, yes.
One of the things we did when we were in Zimbabwe was to have a tea for the women. Ask them, let them talk about why, you know, they're afraid to tell their husbands to have protection. And we had the men have a little luncheon with the men and talk about it, man to man. And when we came back home, we did have several people that wanted mentors and how to help that, because the whole thing is education. That's the cure.
And that costs nothing.
That's the key, exactly. Right. Education is definitely the key, not just for our children, but also for the elders in the community, particularly in the villages and in some of these limited resource communities, because as long as we continue to believe the things that we've always believed in, as long as we continue to think that things need to be done a certain way, HIV is going to take a different approach from any other disease that has come into the community. It has to be a buying in of the community. Hence, with the Dangwa initiative, we don't just go into even though I'm from Zimbabwe, I still have to be respectful of the culture within that. And so, having lived outside of the United States, I have also come up with my own culture, which is mixed with that. But when I talk to my people in Zimbabwe, I have to realize that, listen, you might be tainted a little. You need to still respect that their culture, at the same time trying to educate them within that culture. So one of the things that we do is we get a buy-in from the elders of the villages. come in and talk to them about what we are not coming in there to change their way of being, to say, but we are coming in here to help them better the system that they already have, not necessarily to say get rid of your culture.
Right. It's
but
not
to
you're
say,
the outside, you're helping them build
exactly,
from the inside.
one size does not fit all.
Teresa, what are some effective but inexpensive ways to provide these children with some hope, with some solace?
One of the things that the people in the capital region that I really appreciate has been they have been very supportive in donating their books, textbooks, library books, and other people have also supplied clothes. Our house right now is full. I have about 60 computers which are waiting to go to Zimbabwe to start a lab tech, and so all these things are things that people are probably sitting in somebody's house or in their basement, which they don't have use for. If you have any doubts, I have use for it. Just give me a call, send me an email, whatever you think, before you put it in the trash. Give it to me. Let's talk about it.
And then there's art. You also bring art into this, Teresa.
Correct. One of our, even though Zimbabwe has its own challenges in terms of economic and the political situation, Zimbabwe has one beautiful aspect of it in terms of art. We have what we call Shona sculpture. Shona sculpture is a stone that is only found in Zimbabwe. It is made by simple tools, a chisel and a hammer.
This would be a sculpture from one of those stones.
That's one of them, and the artist named this one, Why Me Woman. You can take it for what it is, and but the one that you're looking at right now, that is that's a piece that was made by somebody who is HIV positive. And actually all of the sculptures that you will see, or all of the sculptures that you see me sell, are sculptures who were either made by my children who have been affected by HIV, or individuals who are trying to take care of their families, utilizing the skill that has been taught from generation to generation, and that is mother and child. And it is a skill which we don't have schools for it. Like I said, it is something that is taught from one generation to another generation. And now, before it was one of those things that people just did to pass time. But now, particularly for the people who have been stigmatized or who have lost their jobs because because of the stigma that is attached to HIV and AIDS, they have now come back to creating art. That one is marketplace. This is all handmade.
And you're selling
tools,
these.
And I am selling these.
And the money you raised goes to?
Every penny goes to, I buy them directly from the artists themselves. I do not owe them anything, so that they can be able to take care of their children and their families. And then when I sell it, the money goes directly to helping the children in the communities that I serve.
What's the price range on these? And I know you've got your microphone's on there. Okay.
Marketplace, the one that you're looking at right now, goes for about $1,500. I mean, $1,500. That's $1,500. And the one that the mother and child is going to be on auction. So if you want to take a part in providing for a family or to have a child go to school, please come to our auction or visit our website. And you will not only have a unique art. One of the interesting things is because these things are made by hand, the tradition behind it is that people, when they go into the mountains to take the stone that makes this artwork, they don't go out thinking, today I'm going to make an elephant. They go out there and just grab a stone, come home and sit down and have the spirit within the stone communicate with them what the end product will be. So you find that no two items are the same. They may look similar, but they are not. No two items are the same. So by purchasing this artwork, you are really purchasing something that nobody else has.
And you know, when you talk about the price, I think of the Visa commercial. We can talk about the dollars and cents, but the greater good of this is priceless.
That's right, that's right. And my goal is to have a piece of artwork in every American household. That is my goal. And I am not going to reach that goal without you.
There you go.